chapter 2 of Philippians, verse 1. If then there is any encouragement in Messiah, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of spirit, if any affection and compassion, make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the same love, one in being and of purpose, doing none at all through selfishness or self-conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Very important. And I was so happy to see so many fruits in you guys over there in Mexico. It was really, really wonderful because, well, you guys know it was like if we had known each other forever. And I'm sure you felt it as well. No selfishness, no self-conceit, humility everywhere. It was wonderful. And also we need to keep in mind, not only for us, but for those who will join in the future, and also to understand when teaching others that we must be of the same mind. Now, there will be some with more faith than others, and just that will be will make it a bit different, as we see in Romans 14. Those who have less faith don't understand certain things, like those who have stronger faith. But we still must be of one mind regarding Mashiach, regarding the true doctrine. And those who have less faith will continue to grow until they get to the level in which they understand that which those with a lot of faith have come to understand. My point is pretty much not to take it out of context, because the same who wrote this chapter wrote Romans 14 when talking about those who have less and more faith, how they understand the Shabbat, how they understand the food that they can or should eat, and so on and so forth. That just being pretty much the two main issues with the lack of faith when they get stuck in the letter. So once again, if then there is any encouragement in Messiah, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of spirit, if any affection and compassion, make my joy complete by being of the same mind. It is obvious that Christians are not of the same mind. If so, they wouldn't be hundreds, and as I've heard, thousands of different denominations. There are way too many. Each denomination has a different doctrine. There may be a few differences among some of them, but being so many of them, it is clear that at the end, there are all the difference you can think of. They are different of mind, because one thinks that there is Trinity, the other things that there isn't. One thinks that they should worship Mary, other things that they shouldn't. One thinks that they can bow down to idols, others think that they cannot, but they bow down to money, etc. So they have different minds regarding everything. And sadly, even if they got to be of one mind because of everything that is taught in Christianity, they will be of a wrong mind, starting with the false name, right? Even if they were of one mind in Jesus, they will be wrong because that is not the name. And just that will lead them to a lot of error, because the spirit of error comes through that false name. Well, to any false name. But that one is the main one, of course. Make my joy complete by being of the same mind. So it should be the same name, not Yeshua here, Jesus there, Isa there, Yahshua there, Yahweh. It should be just one. Which one? The true one, of course. So that's why we should study and learn and research in order to get to know the truth, to be of one mind, in the right mind. because now if then we'll be just crazy. So make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the same love, one in being and of purpose, doing none at all through selfishness or self-conceit, nothing at all through selfishness or self-conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself. This is very important, and I think kind of hard for the flesh, if not very hard for the flesh. So we need to keep this in mind. And this is important to keep in mind also when it comes to Romans 14, where I was saying about those who have less faith. Because those who have more faith may see those who have less faith as wrong, just not understanding that the reason why they may be wrong is because of lack of faith, not because of anything else other than that. So they should help build that faith instead of being an obstacle for them to grow in faith. And all that I'm saying has to do with Romans 14. Just want to make it clear. So, but in humility, consider others better than yourselves. If we consider others better than ourselves, we will treat everybody great. We will give everybody honor. And we won't feel as offended or hurt, whatever, for whatever misunderstanding may happen. Because we consider others better than yourself. But if you consider yourself better than others, then you will see others obviously as less than you, as dumb for not having faith, as whatever the flesh may put in your mind. So remember always to consider others better than yourself. That's right, Yahoo. That was wonderful. And that's why I was so happy. And I know many of you guys also, felt it. And I heard a lot of good comments all the time that I was there regarding what they were experiencing in fellowship. So I feel very happy and very proud in a good way of you guys and the congregation that we have. Each one should look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. Important. If we do that, we will build up, we will grow, and help others grow. Each one should look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interests of others. For let this mind be in you, which was also in Messiah Yahushua, who being in the form of Elohim, did not regard equality with Elohim a matter to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, and came to be in the likeness of men. This is important. This is huge. If Messiah himself, who is one with the Father, came and treated everyone as equals, who are we to treat others as less? For let this mind be in you, which was also in Messiah Yahushua, because we must be of one mind, and we are the body of Messiah. What is that mind? The Messiah's mind. So let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahushua, who being in the form of Elohim, being one with the Father, being Elohim in the flesh, did not regard equality with Elohim a matter to be grasped. It's not like he was saying, oh, just because I'm equal with him, because I'm one with him, I'm better than you all. He actually came to serve, to teach, and to take our sins to the cross. Being in the form of Elohim, did not regard equality with Elohim a matter to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, and came to be in the likeness of men. And having been found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, death even of a stake. Right? This verse could be said in Hebrew would be even of a tree, etz in Hebrew, as prophesied in Deuteronomy. But also, we could say cross, like I have said, it is, I do believe it was a cross, mainly because of the fact that in the pictographic Hebrew alphabet, the last letter is a cross, as in the fulfillment of what the word would complete, being Yahushua the word, starting from the Aleph to the Taf, Yahushua being the first, who at the end died on a cross. So having been found in a fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, death even of a tree, because cursed he who is hanged from a tree. And this is huge. Yahweh, the Almighty, Yahweh therefore has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name, because we must be of one mind. There can only be one name. That's why Yahweh therefore has highly exalted him. If names didn't matter, then why would this verse be written? Why would the word exalted be here? I mean, Yahweh is saying a way to exalt somebody is by giving him a good name. A way to honor somebody is by calling him by the right name. That's why people, when they get somebody's name wrong, they feel ashamed, because it feels bad. Not only to get it wrong, but also to tell somebody your name and then that somebody calling you a different name. It shows that they weren't paying attention. They didn't care or whatever. And I know sometimes we got memory issues, because it happens to me as well. But it's part of not focusing. And in this case, obviously, when talking about the Father, creator of all, and his Son, we should be very careful, of one mind. And if we love him, we should get to know him truly and respect him and honor him. So Yahweh therefore has highly exalted him. How? By giving him the name which is above every name. So no matter how people call him in the world, if you really love him and want to exalt him, you should call him by the name that Yahweh gave him. And for that, we should research a little bit in order to get to know that. Has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushua, not Yeshua, not Yehoshua, not Jesus, not Isa, not Yeshu, not any of the false names that they teach, but Yahu. Look at when you write that. Oh, they changed it already. You see, this is Yah. They wrongly write God, which, as you know, is the mighty one of fortune, Isaiah 65:11. They used to write Yahweh when you would write this right here, Yahoo. They're putting yeah. But anyways, Yahoo Shu. They write Joshua because that was also the name given to him. He was first named Hoshea, but then Moshe put the Yud at the beginning for him to become the first representation of the Messiah on this earth, by name at least. So Yahushua, Yahweh saves. Yahweh therefore has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name. higher than every other name, more important than any name, one name, not many names, but one above every other. And a lot of people, a lot of Christians say it from the pulpit, the name which is above every name, but they don't say the name and they don't know it. And they say Jesus. And then if you tell them about the importance of the name, they say, no, that doesn't matter. Or they say, no, the people are not ready for it. Or whatever excuse not to teach the truth because they don't want to lose any money, which would happen if they lose people, which would happen if they teach the truth because we are few. That at the name of Yahushua, not any other name, and I know I repeat it a lot, but these verses are key when it comes to teaching the name. And they should be enough for any believer to actually look for the true name. These verses should be enough. There are more than 450 verses in scriptures showing how important the name is. This is one of them. And it should be enough with this one. That at the name of Yahushua, every knee should bow, of those in heaven and of those on earth and of those under the earth. So we could say the angels, the humans, and the dead. But also, we know angels have knees, humans have knees to bow down. And it is possible that this verse is also saying that there are other creatures under the earth, perhaps even human, who live under the earth, as some believe that there are civilizations within the earth, what they call hollow earth, although it's a little bit different how they picture the earth, but still it is believed by some, and I do believe in myself in a way, to a certain point, that there are creatures, whether human or others, under the earth living. So every knee should bow, of those in heaven, of those on earth, and of those under the earth, and every tongue should confess. Every tongue should confess. Let me go to Isaiah 45:23. I have sworn by myself, a word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, so that to me every knee shall bow, every tongue swear. Every tongue shall confess. So going back, and in fact, let me read another one. Romans 10. But what does it say? The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. That is from Deuteronomy 30:14. He's quoting it. The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. Revelation 19:13 says that the word of Yahweh is the name of the Messiah, Yahushua. So the name is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. Why? Because you must confess it and believe in it. That is the word of belief which we are proclaiming. That if you confess with your mouth the sovereign Yahushua, if you confess with your mouth that Yahushua is Ha'adon, and believe in your heart that Yahweh has, well, in this case, that Elohim has raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. So you shall be saved if you have both the confession and the belief. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and one confesses with the mouth, and so is saved. So salvation comes through the confession with the mouth. Righteousness comes through the belief in the heart. Very important. Most people have their beliefs in order to be resurrected in righteousness, but only few have confessed before dying, because everybody will have to confess, but most of those who will confess will do so after resurrecting. Those who confess before dying, they will be saved from it. Because the scripture says, whoever puts his trust in him shall not be put to shame, because there is no distinction between Yahudi and Greek, for the same sovereign of all is rich to all those calling upon him. For everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh shall be saved, as Joel says, 2:32. How then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? So that's why we must preach about him, teach of his name, because how will they confess a name which they haven't heard? And they won't hear it from the false pastors. Just ask those pastors and you'll see the excuse why they don't want to teach the truth. And how shall they hear without one proclaiming? How shall they proclaim if they are not sent? That's a blessing. So if you are proclaiming his name, you know you have been sent. If you are teaching the truth to others, you know he has sent you. How then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without one proclaiming? And how shall they proclaim if they are not sent? As it has been written, how pleasant are the feet of those who bring the good news of shalom, who bring the good news of the good. The good news of shalom as in the first, the good news of the good as in the last, first and last. The good news, besorot, the flesh of the first, the flesh of the last. So going back, that at the name of Yahushua, every knee should bow, of those in heaven, those on earth, and those under the earth, and every tongue should confess that Yahushua the Messiah is the sovereign, to the esteem of Yahweh the Father, to the honor of Yahweh the Father. Because when we honor Mashiach, we are honoring the Father. When we confess Yahushua, we are confessing Yahweh saves us. That's why it is a covenant, the new covenant. So that, my beloved, as you always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much rather in my absence, work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. This is huge as well, because of the way they are taught and the grace, they are not working at all, spiritually speaking. They don't fear Yahweh. They fear the virus. They fear the government. They fear wicked people. They fear a cockroach. They fear anything and everything. But it says, work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. So it is our work, even though Yahushua fulfilled it by dying for our sins, resurrected by the Father, it is our job now to believe in him and therefore to know who are we believing in. Work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. So we should fear Yahweh to the point that we tremble when we think about going against him, leaving him, turning back, etc. We must work out our own deliverance. So it is our job now. He brought deliverance, pretty much telling us how to attain it. So we must work to get it. And part of it is gaining knowledge of he who died for our sins, starting with his name, which we should confess and bow down to. Work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. And my point is that we shouldn't just leave everything to grace, as they say, and just hope for the better. Instead, we should have faith in the good and have confidence in order to continue walking towards the goal and therefore continue growing, learning, and becoming better in every way. Work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling, for it is Elohim, who is working in you both to desire and to work for his good pleasure. For it is Elohim who is working in you both to desire and to work for his good pleasure. It is him who puts the desire in us to follow him, to learn of him. And then it is him who puts the strength to go and work and fulfill his commandments, simply for his good pleasure. Because he feels pleasure when he sees us gathering, loving each other, learning, and wanting to meet him and his son. Do all matters without grumblings and disputings. Very important. Do all matters without grumblings and disputings, in order that you be blameless and faultless, children of Elohim without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. How beautiful. That is something also that I have kept in mind a lot while there, and try to tell everybody to continue to shine wherever they may be, however dark it may be where you guys are within your own homes, sometimes sadly, communities, country, whatever, work, whatever you may be, become the light that shows others the way through your example, through your words, your teaching, in order that you be blameless and faultless, children of Elohim without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation. That's why we should do everything without grumblings and disputings. We should control the flesh and the desires to dispute what we believe, fight with others to believe what we have come to know as truth, because it is Yahweh who will reveal it. And if he doesn't reveal it, it's not for us to force it. In order that you be blameless and faultless, children of Yahweh. And I say that because of John 1, that it is those who believe in the name of the Messiah who are given the gift, pretty much, to be called children of Yahweh, without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. That's why we would be like the stars of the firmament, because you look during the night at the firmament and everything's dark except for those little spots we call stars. The world is dark as the night, as the firmament in the night. Yet each of the chosen few will shine like a star, a light in the world, holding on to the word of life. Word of life, not words, but word. What word? The word of the testimony, the word of his patience, which is the name of the Messiah that was just mentioned here. Name above every name. It is one word. A name is a word, and a word is a spirit. That's why through the name we receive the spirit of truth, according to John 14:26. Holding on to the word of life for a boast to me in the day of Messiah, that I have not run in vain or labored in vain. So we must hold on to the word of life, meaning the name of the Messiah, through which we get salvation, according to Romans 10 and many other things in scripture. For a boast to me in the day of Messiah. Imagine how, I cannot imagine how Paul will feel when he sees everybody who will enter the kingdom after having read everything he wrote. Imagine the pleasure, eternal pleasure, as well as whoever we get to teach, imagine seeing them in the heavens for eternity, and what it will feel for us and also for them. We cannot imagine, no matter how much we try, because the greatness of the life that Yahweh has prepared for us is way, way, way above our understanding based on this life we have lived in this reality. Holding on to the word of life for a boast to me in the day of Messiah, that I have not run in vain or labored in vain. In fact, even if I am being poured out as a drink offering on the offering and service of your belief, I am glad and rejoice with you all. Right? Talking like the witnesses, even if I have to die, I'm glad and rejoice with you all. Even if I'm being poured out as a drink offering, right? But basically talking about his blood, like the wine. Even if he has to give his blood, his life, for the life is in the blood. In fact, even if I am being poured out as a drink offering on the offering and service of your belief, I am glad and rejoice with you all. So you too should be glad and rejoice with me. That's right, Yahweh. Born to shine, no doubt. But I trust in the sovereign Yahushua to send Timotheus to you shortly, so that I too am encouraged by the news from you. For I have no one else of the same mind. Look at that. How interesting. For I have no one else of the same mind, just like pretty much the witness like Moshe talking about the witness Eliyahu. Only two of the same mind, bringing each and every one of the 144,000 to get to that mind. But Paul himself is saying, and obviously there are the disciples, the apostles, but within his group of people, close people, he says, I have no one else of the same mind, which is interesting. But once again, it is prophetical, representing the two witnesses who are the only two in the world of the same mind with the true doctrine. And that's why they gathered the 144,000. For I have no one else of the same mind. How interesting that the brain, which is connected to the mind, has two parts, two hemispheres, right? Like Moshe and Eliyahu. For I have no one else of the same mind who takes a genuine interest in your welfare. The two witnesses and the 144,000. For all seek their own interests, not those of Messiah Yahushua. But you know he has proven himself that as a son with his father, he served with me for the good news. How beautiful. But you know he has proven himself, just like Eliyahu would prove himself, that as a son with his father, he's talking Paul as the father, Timotheus as the son, just like the witness like Moshe will be as a father to Eliyahu, who will be as his son. But you know he has proven himself that as a son with his father, he served with me for the good news. Once again, representing the two witnesses. So I expect to send him as soon as I see how it goes with me. And I trust in the sovereign that I myself shall also come shortly. But I thought it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother. Epaphroditus. I'm sure some might translate it or pronounce it differently. Epaphroditus or something like that. But just because of how we do with the names, let's go and check this name. Lovely. But I thought it necessary to send to you the lovely one, to you Epaphroditus, my brother, fellow worker and fellow soldier, and your emissary and servant to my need. Since he was longing for you all and being troubled because of you, since he was longing for you all and being troubled because you had heard that he was sick. For indeed he was sick, near to death, but Yahweh had compassion on him, and not only on him, but on me as well, lest I should have sadness upon sadness. This is wonderful for several reasons. Well, to see the love that Paul had for him, saying, Yahweh had mercy on me when he saved him. Because if he would have died, my pain would have been so strong. And that is wonderful to have that love. Obviously, he saved him for him as well, but so important to also take that in account, that when Yahweh does something for somebody who we love, he's doing it for us, not only for them. Also, it is important to understand, because many people believe that once they come to the Messiah, they won't ever get sick. And people believe that if you get sick, oh, you did something wrong for sure. Although it may be a reason, it's not the only reason. Oh, you're away from the spirit. That's why you got sick. But look how it's saying that this person who is a good servant, a believer in one mind, etc. He was lovely, most likely in every way, in the sense of loved by the Father and his people. Yet he was sick near to death. So that was obviously a test for him and those around him. But nobody, I mean, Paul is in here saying, oh, Epaphroditus, he sinned, so he was near to death. No, he was a righteous person, yet he got sick. Since he was longing for you all and being troubled because you had heard that he was sick, being troubled. So he didn't even want them to know that he was sick, because they would be sad, and also perhaps because some of them would question his sickness. For indeed he was sick, near to death, but Elohim had compassion on him, and not only on him, but on me as well, lest I should have sadness upon sadness, being in prison and then losing one of his loved ones. Therefore I sent him more eagerly, so that on seeing him again you might rejoice and be less sad. So they were sad because of Paul being in prison, and also because Epaphroditus was sick. But now Paul is sending Epaphroditus so that they may feel less sad. And look how it says, so that you feel happy. I mean, it doesn't say so that you feel happy, it says so that you feel less sad, right? Because he was still in prison. Receive him therefore in the sovereign with all joy, and hold such as he in esteem. Whoever behaves like him, you should honor, for he is lovely. Anybody who shows love should be kept in high esteem. Receive him therefore in the sovereign with all joy, and hold such as he in esteem. Because for the work of Messiah, he was near death. Because for the work of Messiah, he was near death, or risking his life to fill up what was lacking in your service toward me. So Epaphroditus risked his life. It is possible that his sickness was due to this that is being mentioned here, because for the work of Messiah, he was near death, risking his life to fill up what was lacking in your service toward me. So there were things that the Philippians should have done for Paul that they didn't, yet Epaphroditus went and did it. And when he did that, he was near death for the work of Messiah. Obviously, he will be rewarded for that. And Paul had to mention it here because even though he loves the Philippians so much, he also needs to tell the truth so that pretty much this doesn't happen again. Because for the work of Messiah, he was near death, risking his life to fill up what was lacking in your service toward me. So also saying that obviously so that they take it in account when they see Epaphroditus coming, so that they treat him with the honor he got to deserve for what he did in the work of Messiah, being even near to death. So that's how that chapter ends.